This call is being recorded.
Welcome to the artwork of CP, everyone. As you know, I'm back on planet Earth in Phoenix, Arizona. It is 95 degrees here as we record this on May 1. By the way, welcome to May. It is 66 degrees at home, my old home. Thank you very much. And I don't know, maybe eventually I'll plan a trip back to home to get away from the heat because that's what a lot of people do nowadays. They spend half the time here and half the time somewhere with less heat. I have somewhere with less heat. I just have to figure out how I'm gonna get somewhere with less heat. I'm very, very, very lucky that I have the beautiful Rocky Mountains 12 hours away. And um, yes, I have people that can help me. And yes, yes, I do. I'm very blessed in that way. And home is home is home. So I just have to figure out how to get back there. But I, pardon me, CP, cerebral palsy, loves the heat. Me personally, wind. Wind is a AC person, always has been. I spent many, many years in, and excuse the noise. Um, I'm going to turn this off because my chair goes beep beep if you don't turn it off. So I don't want to have it go beep beep and it land up in the recording and also make Danielle jump. So never mind on that. So yeah, because Danielle jumps, everyone jumps when they hear beep beep. And I'm a terrible power chair user. I'm not used to this thing yet. So everyone jumps and everyone gets concerned when they hear beep beep, and it's me turning me off. So it's me when I forget to turn me off, me being my power chair. So that being said, where was I? Oh, the heat. I was, I'm, yes, I have people to help me. Yes, I can do it. Yes, I want to do it, but I'm not quite ready to go back. I have to get stuff organized. But today, what I, and that being said, I spent many, many, many years in the Bahamas. So human heat, I am used to. I love human heat as well. So heat, I love, but in the summer, not so much. Not so much. I like to do one thing a day, and then that's it. That's it. I'm inside for the rest of the day. One thing a one thing a day, and I will walk out to the water, the close water source, and jump in it. Yes, yes. There will be pictures of me in a pool. There have been pictures of me in a pool in the ocean, and so I will be like the rest of the humans, jump in water when it's 95 degrees out or whatever it is. But so far, I love it, and I have the option of going home only for vacation. Only for vacation. I I say that loud and clear. I would only come back to Colorado if the number one, if there's an emergency that I need to come back to Colorado for, and vacation. I am not moving back to call on anytime soon. I'm just putting that out there publicly. And yeah, now I have a favor to ask you guys. Could you please guide me in the right direction of educating myself how to nicely load myself into a wheelchair handicapped accessible van by oneself in the heat, because that I can't do. I can't do it. I have assistants to help me in the nice and cool weather. I could probably do it. But heat and me personally do not get along. Heat and my disability get along quite nicely because there's no chronic pain involved with my disability. Ice and snow, that's a different story. So I think eventually I'm going to be coming back to the beauty of the Rocky Mountains for only 2 months out of the year, summer. Probably August, if I can swing it 1 month, and then probably August, or probably do something June and July. I haven't decided when, but people seem to escape the dry heat of Arizona, and I can see why. But enough of my heat extravaganza, and I have gotten sun poisoning. That was a good one. So I am not, that's also why I'm not a big fan of the heat. So I may need to hook a squirt gun or water mister up to my wheelchair. That is, I may need to adapt this wheelchair, find a squirt gun or water mister on this wheelchair, because that's the only way I'm gonna do it. In the winter, it's gonna be perfectly fine. In the summer, not so much when it's 95 degrees, as we record this on May 1. But I love it. I love it. And today, Danielle and I are going to actually, now that my little soapbox about the heat is over, today, Danielle and I are actually going to talk about roommates. Because as of yesterday, I decided to contact my family. One family member, it turned around and is very supportive of me. The other family member is not so supportive of me. Now, my one family member can change in 2 seconds flat. I know this. The other family member is not so supportive of me being down here because, as I told you guys, they tried to stick me in a home in Kentucky. Later, I find out with other people present that other people present involved in a meeting about me and about moving and about everything else. Basically, the meeting was about selling my house, but it was about me moving too. And so basically, I find out that because they have decided not to help me physically due to their own disabilities. And yeah, and this was my abuser and my abuser's witness. The witness has said, and I quote, she has said, I can't take care of Lynn due to my own disabilities. And I'm like, So that is why they tried to stick me in a home. And that was a complete disaster. I'm like, no, you're not sticking me in a home in 2019. You're letting me see, people can tell me what to do. They just have to let me make it on my own terms. They can't force me because I'm my own guardian. They can't force me to do anything. So they have to suggest things to me, and then I decide what to do. And so one family member who is very sweet at this point, and I am planning a surprise for October that I'm working out the details of as soon as I get my life organized down here. I'm planning something that you guys have, well, some of you have heavily suggested that I do. Again, let's just leave it at that. And so I'm working out the details on that. And I already have I have already done this something, and now I just need to do this something again to and this something is going to be done totally differently than previously, and I may take one of the team I may take one of my team members to this something that's going to go deja vu all over again, but be a much better experience. Let's just put it that way. Now, my family is supportive. My family knows that I'm down here. I kind of had to wait to tell them that I'm down here until I was actually down here and put a plan in place. One family member is supportive, the other one is not. So that's what I get from my family. But I am living on my own, and I am going to talk about me living on my own. Now, granted, as you guys know, I went from 24-hour care to 4 hours a day. And I am hopeful to keep that 4 hours a day, and I will keep that 4 hours a day, but I will also use my aides more as companions, more as buddies, than more as personal assistants to me than my actual aides. Although when they have downtime, they can do whatever they please with me. So I am going to do that, but I will refuse 24-hour care. I will refuse 24-hour care. Right now, I have a person living with me. I've had people living in my house since March 19th, March 20th to be more specific, because they weren't my aides. Now, these people were not my aides. I was lucky enough that my team during the move lined up registered aides from our agency to work with me. So all I had to do was bring my assistants with me, and my one assistant got transferred out for another. Now, the reason why I couldn't do it being the podcast in the first month is because I was stuck without a lot. Now, I shouldn't say stuck. I was stuck without a desk, but not without a laptop. And I needed a desk. I needed my own space to work. So that's the only reason why I couldn't do the podcast the first month I was down there. Now, even though I do have a assistant living with me, she is not my care provider. She is my personal assistant. I am very, very lucky to have in my life, because this includes the podcast, one physical personal assistant who's helping me organize Arizona, and one very skilled scheduling assistant who's helping me organize the podcast. AKA, she's sitting on the other end, probably smiling at this point, because I'm very, 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 very blessed. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you are, because I couldn't do it without you in the visible. I could not do it without you. Jeez, I could not do it without you. Yeah, I see what you're saying when I said yes. She's smiling at this point. Yes, you're responding. Yes, I am. So I see what you're saying. Sorry about that. I can't necessarily. Well, this is the other thing. Um, am when I just come in from the heat, it takes me a good 20 minutes to get adjusted to the AC, and I can't necessarily understand and pick up CP right away. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. Is windfall completely. So basically, I am very, 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 very blessed, and I know it. I know it. I don't take this move for granted. I don't take people helping me for granted. I don't take anything for granted nowadays, because I am very, very, very blessed to be moving / moved partially down to Arizona. I'm still in the process of moving paperwork and all that good stuff. But me as a human, I've moved down to Arizona, but I am not officially moved until September. I don't take over this house completely as my own house completely, and we will get into the dynamics next week as to you're thinking, okay, when as a human is living in Arizona, how is she doing it? Okay, so we will get into the dynamics next week of how I'm doing it, because it's actually really nice, and it's actually, I have had a huge, huge, huge blessing back in Aspen that I was a part of, and the developer who bought my house literally did a very, very cool thing. And so yeah, and his personal assistant actually knows I'm down in Arizona, but so he did a very cool thing. So, and believe it or not, both houses go bye-bye. One goes into my name in September. The other one goes bye-bye completely in September as well. So September is going to be a huge, August and September are going to be a huge month, September primarily. But as I said, what are you people going to give me for my birthday now? You've always given me a power wheelchair, a house, and a van, and a million people to help me with this move. So right now, my assistant is upstairs. She's probably working on my behalf, and she admitted to me the other day that, and maybe after all this we can get her on mic, maybe, because she is a podcast listener, but maybe we can get support crew on mic. I'm 99% positive about that, maybe, and have her share her experiences. But basically, she admitted the other day that she'll be a fly on the wall, literally and figuratively, and when I'm working, she'll disappear. Like the other day, she walked downstairs to use my kitchen, and I say my kitchen because it is my kitchen now. Um, and I was in the middle of a podcast. She turned around, and I'm not kidding, walked back upstairs, and I'm like, okay, you understand. And I told her I was going to be working, and I told her that I was going to be, and she goes, what are you doing when we get home? I said, I'm recording a podcast. So basically, my assistant slash roommate goes into the woodwork. And Danielle, I also have a question for you. Your assistant and roommate at your house goes into the woodwork. Okay. Danielle, the lucky duck, has two roommates, but they don't necessarily assist you during the day, do they?
No.
No, and Danielle just turned the camera on. I like that shirt, Danielle, by the way. I like that shirt. I wish you guys could see this shirt. I like that flower power shirt. But so your assistants basically, well, my people power, I should say, and your roommates basically assist you with cooking, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my aides assist me with bathing and dressing and cooking. But other than that, that's about it. And people are shocked. They're like, women, you can live on your own. Yes, I can live on my own with help. And Danielle can live on her own with help. And this is why, and Glenn, my house is monitored 24/7. So if I needed help, I could call someone and they would be up here in 2 seconds flat. And I I have been known to send texts, and they have their phones glued to their hips and they come to rescue. I have a knight in shining armor in my life that comes and rescues me twice now, 3 times. Yeah, twice now, twice probably. Now I'm laughing because now this is during the week. We have a house manager on the weekends. We have a awesome house manager on the weekdays. We have a afternoon house manager on the weekdays who's also awesome. And so and we're trying to be nice to the weekend house manager. The weekend house manager is a little of a tough nut to crack. I knew that going in. He's a little bit of a tough nut to crack. I knew that going in. He necessarily didn't like me via FaceTime either. So with the weekday house manager, when I met him via FaceTime, someone else's FaceTime, mind you, not mine. He basically loves me from the second I met him. The weekend house manager is a tough nut to crack, and I know that going in. And if you have the option of, okay, first of all, I'll say this. If you have the option of looking up Luna Azul and buying in Luna Azul, I said buying in Luna Azul in Phoenix, Arizona, great, wonderful. Secondly, if you are not as blessed as I am and don't have the option, see if you can, wherever your child is going to live, see if you can do a meet and greet with the roommates via technology. If the roommates are out of state, if not, now that the loan is opening up, you can do a meet and greet in person. Just follow the CDC guidelines, 6 feet 6 feet apart, and wear masks. Now, granted, okay, so Danielle has 2 roommates that help. I have people power / assistants all over the place that help. And I have more guardian angels than I would like to know about. And I should do a thank you episode that's coming. But I have more people, I have received more love and more visitors and more people in the past month to come and help me than ever. And I don't care if you people listen to the podcast. You're helping me. You're motivating me to do my work. I don't care if you come down here physically. You guys know who you are and come down here physically. I had a friend at literally the end of April who I hadn't seen, let alone her parents either, who I hadn't seen in over a year. And so, and I literally said to her, point blank, I said, well, when's the last time I saw you guys? They go, I don't know, at a Challenge Aspen event. And I'm like, really? Really? And due to all the craziness in my life and due to all, now my life is getting semi-organized again for a moment. It was crazy. Plus, due to COVID, I have, and now granted, one of them lives 20 minutes away from me. And, well, not now. She lives about 10 hours away from me now. But it takes, and this is a funny part, it takes me moving to Arizona to see more people than I saw in the year of COVID. And so it's interesting that people want to come, people want to check in, people want to help, people want to help where they can. And so everyone has their strengths. Everyone pulled wind out of Aspen and a interesting situation. Um, and a interesting. What are you doing? Keep that camera still, Danielle. Everyone pulled myself out of Aspen and a very interesting situation in their own ways. I knew after I got emotionally and physically abused, which for those of you guys who haven't heard that episode, we called it It. We literally called it IT. And so if you guys want to go back and listen to it, please do. And I knew after I was emotionally and physically abused, I would have to gain trust again with my family and put me in a place of love and support now that I have found that place of love and support. I am more open to receiving my family again. But after they did what they did, I cut them off for a good year, and they know it. And I'm slowly but surely mending wounds with them. I'm not. I am. Let's say I'm 60% there to mend the wounds. I haven't spoken to my abuser. Legally, I can't. I just can't. They said, no, you don't speak to your abuser, Lynn. No. Even the head of Adult Protective Services said I wouldn't speak to your abuser. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. So it's so legally I can't speak to my abuser, nor would I want to. But I am slowly but surely mending wounds with my family, and slowly and with support, I am slowly but surely mending wounds. Now, when you would have said to me personally, when you'll be moving to Phoenix, Arizona, and living in an awesome community called Lunazul, if you look up, and then you probably have a link, probably somewhere floating around, and if you look up, and then you will put it in the show notes. Also, if you Google Lunazul disabled housing, you'll I believe except we're getting a new website. I don't know when that new website is going to happen. I believe we have a stock photo of, well, we have, it's not a stock photo, but we have a photo. And of course, when I look at the window, we have a cute little guest joining us today, you guys. We have a cute little jackrabbit. They're very cute, except I can't think of, maybe I can. I can't take a picture of him yet because he runs away too fast. So I'm trying to get a cute picture of him. I'm trying to get a cute picture of him. So we place the deer and the bear for jackrabbits, guys. That's the cute side of the Lunar Zoo. We have the jackrabbits and the road runner. If you ever seen Wile E. Coyote and the road runner, you know what I'm talking about when I say road runner. My last association with road runners with Wile E. Coyote in the Roadrunner. So I have never seen a Roadrunner in real life until the other day. So so now we have a cute little guest that's hopping hopping outside my house. And I'm going to try and take a picture of him to post it on my Instagram. And I'll post it on the podcast Instagram as well to make the podcast Instagram more human and cute. So we have that. But if you guys are lucky enough to move into Lunar Zone, and if you have a disabled child, look at Lunar Zone. And also, if you have a disabled child that wants to be in a group home with more structure, be my guest. I'm not saying that group homes are bad. Some of them are fantastic. They just didn't work for me. But I would say that screen the group homes like there's no tomorrow. Don't just pick one out of the clear blue sky and see if you can set up a Zoom meeting or FaceTime meeting or a something meeting via technology or in person now that the world is vaccinated. Some are vaccinated, not all, but some are vaccinated. And so screen before you send your child down. And my friend who did the original visit made every did the original visit on my behalf and made everyone get on FaceTime to introduce themselves to me or do a walking tour of my unit because she said to me, I want to take you down to Lunadil. But my biggest fear is if you get what's going on physically, I'm not going to be able to forgive myself. Not to say that I want to put you in car with me and team, and then we can go down to Arizona. But I bought this house that I'm sitting in now, and I will do a live stream, and I will show you guys my office space. And I need to do a house tour. I know you guys, people have been asking me, house tour. They keep saying, when house tour, please. And I know Danielle wants to see it too, but Danielle's seen my office now. But Danielle also wants to see it too. But I'm trying to convince Danielle to come down here, and maybe we can do a podcast in the same room and hug, and maybe we can do a podcast in the same room.
Yes.
Yeah, you're saying yes to that. I know you are. And I have an idea that I need to talk to you about offline. And so, because I came up with willing to do, speaking of bootleg. And so, but any of you are welcome to send me packages. Any of you are welcome to come and visit me. You're welcome. You're welcome to come and visit me. All you have to do is give me the date that you're coming, and I will make sure that everything is all lined up, and so you can walk around the Lunar Zone, and you don't necessarily have to have a disability to be living here. You can just come in as an able-bodied helper and live here. It's a normal community. it was geared towards the disabled though. But if you want to come and check it out via me, I'll be happy to be your tour guide. Because this home I'm sitting now is the was is and was and will be until the day I can't do it anymore. Is and was the model home. I still think of it as the model home, and I told Luna though actually I said, look, if people want to come in to the model home of the West Side, my my door is always open. You guys just have to tell me. And um, and it's so funny because I let a person I let I let 3 people in here the other day. A person who was touring Luna Zoo, and the other person who brought him into this community goes, Win, thank you for being so gracious. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? That's my MO. I'm like, I will welcome people into my home as long as I trust them. I mean, I will welcome people into my home just so they can see the inside of Luna Zoo instead of now, granted, we have homes that are completely empty too, that are nine times out of 10 used as tours. But because I'm sitting in the model home as my home, I'm still treating it as the model home, even though there's a inhabitant living in here. And it's so funny when a person was that is redoing on website, they caught me off guard. And it was one of the first weekends I was down here. I didn't know anyone, and they go, "When?" Actually, the house manager catches me and says, "Someone wants to come out to talk to you. We'll be doing our website." And because of my journalism skills, I sat down and did a 20-minute testimonial. And the web guy who was interviewing me was so shocked about how well spoken I was. I'm like, dude, I do this day in, day out. Hello? You and he went back and listened to the audio. He goes, I was talking to a professional journalist, wasn't I? And I'm like, yes, you were. I do this day in, day out. You don't you don't know how much journalism work I actually do. And so no, living on my own with assistance really helped. And Danielle, now I'm gonna get to the icky part. What is the icky part for you living on your own with assistance? What when are the days you're like, roommates, I love you, but go away?
Yeah.
You have to.
I have no have yeah.
Oh, oh, lucky duck, you. I
Go don't me down to get my foot back.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. See, people power is good. People power is good. People power is good. People power is good. But also, you and I will maybe I'll explain this on May. I can't do it on. I have to talk to Danielle about when are we going to do another episode of why I left, because there is number one, I did it for my house reasons, but there is a specific reason why I left that goes with the episode called It. And I want to do that the week after May 19th. So the week of May 20th, we're going to do It Part 2 Revisited. Basically, It Part 2 Revisited, because there's a story that you guys don't know that happened during It. And yeah, there's a story that you guys don't know that happened during the actual It. And so we're going to, the week of May 20th, we're going to do It Part 2 Revisited. And my reflections on It, to, did I just say May 20th? I meant June 23rd. It Part 2 Revisited, my reflections 2 years later. That's what it's going to be. Because It Part 2 Revisited 2 years later, the reason why we're going to do it the day after my birthday is because that's when it happened. The day after my birthday, I got, lovely. My final birthday present was emotionally and physically abused. And so It Part 2, 2 years later, it's going to be It Part 2, my reflections on it. So, and so as you guys know, that I'm also going to be celebrating, well, not celebrating, but remembering my dad on May 19th. And so I thought the week of May 19th, because Danielle has memories of my dad too. And so I thought we both Danielle and I could do a tribute to my dad and release it on May 19th on the podcast feed, and then do the same thing on August 12th, which happens to be my mom's anniversary 12 years later. That's a little scary. So 2 years and then 12 years. And Danielle wasn't, well, she was, quite frankly. She was. She was with me. She wasn't necessarily with me when it happened, but she showed up at my door along with several others on May 19th. So, yeah. So Danielle was with me physically on May 19th. You guys spent a good hour with me and with other people. So basically I had, and I'm going to do a reflection of that also. And yeah, I'm going to do a reflection of that, and maybe, I'm just going to do a reflection of that and talk about good memories and maybe making you guys laugh, because um, you are now seeing the true personality of Win, who's laughing a thousand miles a minute now once she's down here healing myself and over the traumas of Aspen. Let's just put it that way. And I say traumas with an S because there are more than one of them. One of them you don't know, but I'm going to do it revisited, and when you hear what happened during it, you're like gonna be like, what? Why? Why would you say that? Why would a person say that? And so um, we're going to do a reflection of my dad, a reflection of my mom, and fortunately, I think my mom was a little bit more behind. Well, she did show up to child adjustment play camps. I must say that. But when it comes to Danielle and my life, I think my mom was a little bit more behind the scenes than my dad was. He was taking me to skiing, meeting Danielle every which way. And so I think that I think because my dad was, I will say this, my dad was more of the fun dad, which most dads are. Moms are like, I love you guys, but go away at the same time. And so I believe that my dad had the most vivacious spirit until he got gravely ill. And then his fun personality didn't show up again. It went away it started going away in February, but it truly went away when he got stuck at home for 9 days on oxygen downstairs and couldn't make it upstairs. So yeah, so that was fun watching him die. I literally watched my dad die, and that was an experience I will never forget because he died of organ failure / undiagnosed lung cancer and a little bit of nursing home abuse. I'm sorry to say that, but that's what truly happened. And so I never will forget watching my dad die, and that was the saddest thing ever because for those of you who don't know, I was closer to my dad than I was my mom. Only because even though my mom and I had a great, great, great relationship, don't get me wrong on that one, but only because my mom did the medical end of it. And I know that my back surgery changed her perspective on CP forever. And so her driving me back and forth to medical appointments and her making sure that I was still alive every which way in the hospital. Geez, every which way in the hospital when I had that 6-hour surgery. And when I look back on it, and I will tell you this now, and I will tell you this in the reflection of my mom. When I look back on it, the back surgery did not go horribly wrong because I said to someone, with my dad standing in the room, I said, my back surgery went horribly wrong. And he goes, well, the doctor, him being him, he goes, the doctor tried the best he could. The part that went wrong wasn't my blood turning acidic. It wasn't my blood turning acidic and me having an allergic reaction to propofol. It was letting my spine go dead. And the dum that I was, and I call myself a dum-dum, the dum-dum that I was thought, okay, my paralyzation was from the propofol infusion syndrome aspect, and then I add, on top of it, my spine going dead for 20 minutes and then becoming paralyzed. No, it was the spine becoming paralyzed for 20 minutes and being stuck in paralyzation for 20 minutes. And I talk with my hands. You guys can't see that, but I do talk with my hands. Those of you who naturally know me personally know that I talk with my hands. Danielle knows it, and she's looking at me like, you're not nuts. And so that was, and I came to that realization on March 19th, and it's been, well, it will be 11 years, June 14th, of that surgery. So at the 11th year mark on March 19th, when I did the scariest move, literally and figuratively, of my life with a minivan, a power chair, a duffel bag, and an assistant that I barely knew. And here I was, adventurous Win, moving literally to a total different state. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. And even though it was planned, I didn't even realize. And the same with June 15th. I didn't even realize what day it was because I left at 5 a.m. All I remember is seeing the interior lights of my van as two people guided me into my van, and 3 people were standing outside my van. I don't even remember driving down my own driveway. I know that happened, but and me being the dum-dum that I was, I thought, well, who's blocking my driveway? And this was on March 19th. I said, who's blocking my driveway? No, it was my van blocking my driveway so that I could have access to it. No, it was um, my van blocking my own driveway. I'm like, okay. And because this trip was talked about so much, and when the plans were finally made, when it dawned on me when I got to Grand Junction, and my assistant and I stopped at Starbucks, and she goes, I am stopping for coffee. Do you want any? And I distinctly remember saying no, and because I don't drink yet. And then I remember sitting in Grand Junction thinking, okay, what am I doing in this band? What's the date? Because I was so I was a little bit discombobulated at 5 a.m. as I should have been. I'm like, my van, what am I doing here in Glen Junction? I didn't realize it was March 19th until we got to Glen Junction. Sorry, I didn't realize it was March 19th until we got to Glen Junction. And then once we got to Glen Junction, as we pulled out of Glen Junction, I realized, okay, am moving, and this is actually happening. And the same thing with my back surgery, because I didn't realize that I had back surgery and until June 15th, when I woke up at midnight, and I remember it was raining, and I mentioned this in my book, and I remember it was raining that that night, and so I remember it was raining, and so when it comes down to it, I remember saying, "What hospital is this? Why am I here?" And they told me when you just had back surgery, and then I realized, okay, I just had back surgery, which because I was on so much medication, I didn't even realize. Now, granted, I was retired on March 19th, but all in all, it's been extremely a wild adventure, and I love it. And I love living with roommates and semi-independently too. The semi-independently part hasn't come yet completely, but I'm 99% there. And so that being said, I have got to go, you guys, because I just looked at this clock, and if you guys have heard the dolphin, that is my people pal coming to assist. And so people pal got caught in this episode too. And so welcome to Mr. Toad's Island Line. But I will leave you guys. I love you and leave you guys with this episode. And I keep saying I, thinking that the artwork of CP is only me. No, that's a winning cup. The artwork of CP is Danielle and I. But we will leave you with this episode, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye, you guys. Thanks, you guys.
Love you.
Thanks for following us, you guys. Bye, you guys.